All right, hi everybody. I'm here with Sean and Brian from Arcane Wonders, and we're going to talk about Mage Wars. So if you guys just want to start out by maybe giving me a little explanation of the game and how it works.
Okay, great. Well, Mage Wars is a tactical strategy game. It asks the question, what would it be like for mages of different schools of magic, different philosophies of magic that are maybe opposed or alien to each other, to come into an arena and fight each other to the death to see who's the better mage. So the game is like a unique blend combination of customizable card games and tactical miniatures. You play the game with a spell book, which you get 2 of these in the set, and it kind of feels a little bit like a wizard or a mage because you get to flip through the spell book, choosing the spells you want to cast. You will actually build this spell book before the game. You get to design it any way you want, customize it by putting in just the spells that you want. So it has a little bit of a deck building aspect to it. But what's interesting is it's not played like a typical card game. You're not drawing cards hoping to get the spells that you're supposed to know. If they're in your spell book, you choose them and play them when you want to. So every round, each player will flip through their spell book, choose the spells that they want to cast that turn, and pull them out and cast them. Because of that, it has an unprecedented level of tactics and strategies available to the players. So we've spent quite a few years balancing everything to get it right so you can try all these cool combos at any time you want, and they work well in the game without breaking things. The game is played on this board here, which we call an arena, and these are your mages, for example. They're represented by a card. Players will actually start on the board, let's say in opposite corners, for example, and here's the warlock. He's going to take on the priestess. And so they start on the board here. When they cast spells, they'll actually pull them out of their spell book and put them on the board where they become an object in the game, sort of like a tactical miniatures game. So for example, if the warlock here was to summon a hydra, he would actually place it in his zone, and then the hydra now can actually move across the board and actually start making attacks and doing things. Players can actually block each other's path or line of fire, line of sight by putting up walls. So you can use like a wall of fire to hem somebody in so they can't cross that without burning up. We've got lots of cool dirty tricks and strategies built into the game, so players could do lots of mean things to each other. All the enchantments, which are these gold cards here, they are always played face down, so the other player doesn't know what they are. And so you might play an enchantment, let's say the priestess might play an enchantment here, and if the hydra moves in there, she would reveal it saying, I have a trap for him. And so the hydra will trigger the trap and maybe blow up when he moves into that zone. And we have lots of interesting things, like you might have a creature out there that's got an enchantment on it. You don't know what it is. You decide to strike it with a lightning bolt or a fireball. When you do that, the other player could reveal that it's a reverse force field and actually sends the attack back to the attacker. That's an unpleasant surprise, but there's a lot worse ones in the game. We've put in about 3 different paths to victory for each of the mages, so you can actually play any way you want. You can mix and match your spells any way you want, but there's at least 3 good ways to play each mage. The game will come with the board, all 4 mages, 330 spells. You get custom dice, you get hundreds of markers, and you get the rules. And it's a pretty good value. Our price is $59.99, and we feel like for that you get a pretty good set. It's almost £7. And there's enough in there to be able to play the game for months without really needing anything else, but we're going to have expansions come out, and so it's not collectible, but you're welcome to buy some of the new mages will be coming out. Our first set will be here before Christmas. We have a Force Master versus Warlord, and then early spring we'll be doing a Necromancer versus Druid. So anyways, the players have a lot of fun customizing and building your spell book. The feel of the game is after you win or lose a game, you want to go back to your spell book, pull some things out, try some new stuff. You can jump right in with our pre-built spell list and just play the warlock the way that we recommend, and that way it's easy for you to jump into the game. But within a game or two, you're going to get excited and want to make some changes and try some new things.
I have one question actually about the spellbook building. Is there some sort of draft involved, or how do players decide which spells will go in the wizard's spellbook as opposed to, say, the warlock's spellbook?
That's a good question. We have a point building system. Everyone gets 120 spell points. So you pay points to put cards into your spellbook. The spells all have a level to them. For example, the Hydra is a level 4 creature or a level 4 spell, and a simple block spell that blocks an attack is a level 1 spell. So you would pay 1 point for a level 1 spell. You'd pay 4 points for a level 4 spell. So you have 120 points, and you just buy as many spells as that would fit in your spell book. Now, each mage is keyed to certain types of magic. The warlock is keyed towards, he specializes in fire and dark magic. he pays that number of points that I just mentioned for their spells, but if he buys anything outside of his schools, he pays double. So the priestess is keyed and specializes in holy magic, so she would pay 1 point for level 1 spell, 3 for level 3, but she'd pay double that if she buys other spells. And we found the system is just tight enough to restrict players where they kind of need to play within their schools, but there's enough room in there to have some really nasty, sinister surprises for the other players.
There's some cool tricks, like a priestess could have a huge demon in her spellbook, but you know she's paid 3 times as much to get it there, so you'd never see it coming, but it still allows you to have these awesome surprises like Brian was saying.
Great. I guess I just want to hear more about how Mage Wars came into being. I know we've seen it around for a little while, but it's obviously been in development for a while. Can you tell me a little bit about how it came to be where it is today?
Well, that's a good question. I don't want to make it a long story, but about 15 years ago, I came up with a game I was playing with my sons, my 3 oldest sons, Ben, Andrew, and Chris, and they really liked it a lot. I got busy with work, but said one day we're going to make a board game out of this. And about 5 years ago, I decided to go ahead and get serious about it. So we started, we pulled it out of the closet and we started reworking it from scratch. But it took 5 years to get the math right, get the system right, get everything balanced. And over that time, we picked up a lot of followers and a lot of people that took a lot of interest in it. So we got a great team, and they've helped make Mage Wars really solid.
Great. I know that, I believe, at least correct me if I'm wrong, but this has been done independently, not through another publisher or through Kickstarter. Have you thought about using Kickstarter on future expansions or other things like that?
Kickstarter's an awesome program. I can't say enough good things about it. We don't have plans to use it at this point. I'm not saying we're not going to later, but we're doing pretty good. We're fully financed, and we don't need to worry about it right now or anything like that. But I feel very strong about what our product line is, the advertising and marketing we've done, and I think we're ready to go.
One thing Kickstarter might be useful for in the future would be if we wanted to gauge interest in certain different promotions or maybe alternate builds of mages, that might be one place we can go. I've heard a lot of great things. I know it's really sort of revolutionizing the indie game developer's ability to get his game to marketplace. Luckily, we've had the fortune of having a lot of support in the community, and that's really helped Mage Wars come to light and be as prominent as it is, especially here at Origins. But we're always open to things like that in the future.
Great. So I cover the digital board games on BoardGameGeek. That's mostly what I do. And so I'm kind of obligated to ask, do you have any plans for a digital version of Mage Wars in the future?
Absolutely. We're actually in the middle of cutting some deals, which we can't talk about. Is that right?
So hopefully in the future here, in the next year or two, you'll be able to see iOS or Android versions of the full Mage Wars game. Right now, something that we'd like to release, if we can, hopefully very soon after release or at release, is a utility app that players will be able to use to keep track of their spellbooks, build spellbooks, share them online, comment, see up-to-date errata so that if they're playing tournaments, they know what's going on, find other players, other retailers, all of that connected with our website and forums and things like that. So we really, really, really want to press digital gaming as well, because we don't think that it detracts from our game, rather we think it brings new players to the game.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing this at Gen Con. I'll be there for sure, so maybe we better meet again then. But yeah, that's really great. It looks like it's coming along well, and I know that there's definitely a community building around it, and they're going to be excited to be able to try it out. And I think you're right about using digital tools to increase the playability or the ease of play, especially with the spellbook. That definitely is something that if you had it on an app, it'd be great. It could make sure you're not going over points and really follow the rules with you.
I'm sorry, Dinner. We really want to support our retailers, and one way we could do that is by offering more value for a game, like things like apps that audit spellbooks for you, so that it makes people who are an organized player tournaments, it makes it very easy for them to get started because they don't have to flip through every spellbook to check it. We want to make it very easy to get into a store, find a player, and start playing.
Great. Just as a closing question, does Arcane Wonders have any plans on products beyond Mage Wars, maybe in the same universe but a different type of game? Or
we do. I would prefer not to play our hand early on that. Also, I want to just have all the focus on Mage Wars, but we got some great, exciting stuff coming up in the future. So
great. So this is part of a growing company for sure.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with me, and yeah, I hope people can check this out either here or at Gen Con or in their local store, hopefully soon after that. So great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.